Hey, hey, hey! Welcome on back to the Chao Garden. Another episode of Muramasa the Demon Blade is on deck. Last time I was dealing with some audio issues, I think really tiny stuttering. Messed around a bit, think I've got it fixed, so I guess we're gonna see with some more testing here. I believe we were on our way to heaven, of all things. We just went to hell looking for a sword, and then it turned out it was never even there. And then Jinkuro wanted to go to heaven and bathe in divine light or something to that effect. I guess we're gonna see how that's gonna go. I was looking at the interface, the UI elements on the screen as well, thinking, oh man, they're so blurry. I wish that there was some like HD interface mods, which is something I was just kind of like remembering was even a thing with a different game. I'm forgetting what game I was going to stream or something. I was looking into that. But the HD interface mods I saw in the 15 minutes it's been since the last stream. I was updating graphics drivers and stuff too to make sure that that wasn't an issue, and so I only had a couple minutes to look into it. It looked like it was trained, or it was an AI model that was trained to upscale, and I just don't like AI upscaling that much. I didn't really give it a chance. I didn't look into it too much, but that was enough to tell me maybe I'm fine with how the game originally looked. It's not that big a deal. I did turn off VSync, and I'm already seeing some tearing. I don't know if that shows up on the recording or if that's just my monitor. Another thing I'll have to look into, because it seemed like that immediately had an effect to the VSync. I always turn VSync on because I've always had just a 60 Hz monitor my whole life, despite the fact that I have a much more powerful graphics card that would permit me to play at much higher frame rates. I can't see them. It doesn't really matter. And because of that, I think the tearing that I'm seeing is just on my end. I don't feel like you guys should be able to see that, but reminder to myself, I should look at the video afterwards. If you are somebody who has built a PC or wanted to build a PC, or like you just know about the whole thing right now with artificial intelligence and the market and memory prices, like, isn't that just insane? As I've said a couple times, I am in school. I'm going for programming. I'm taking a couple of computer classes right now. It's finals week, so I'm technically done with them, but in a couple of them I had to keep up with kind of what's going on in the tech world and read articles that have been published recently and then write a report on them. And so that's helped me... Ooh, I die here. That's helped me kind of like keep up to date a little more than I otherwise would have, because I luckily built a new computer. I was saving for a long time. I built a completely new computer halfway, three-quarters of the way through 2025, so like very shortly before we got hit with these surging prices. I've seen some people report that... Oh wow, I went the way wrong way. I saw some people report that RAM that they just bought last year has gone up like 6 times in price. So I'm really curious where mine is sitting, just out of a curiosity, but I almost don't want to know. It's just so gross, and it's all because of AI. Data centers and big tech, they're buying up all the memory that's available because they need it to train AI. And that's the big thing in consumer tech right now, is everyone's trying to build their own language models, and I don't know, it's just not leaving any room for the average consumer to do anything, and it really sucks. Definitely not taking what I was able to get for granted, because I was very lucky to build my computer when I did. Although not so lucky that I could avoid the issues with GPUs. When NVIDIA, of course, announced their 50 series, I was there. Well, I wasn't at the expo or anything, but was it CES? I can't remember what it's even called. I was watching it live because I was really excited. Like, oh, NVIDIA's going to release new cards, so either the 40 series is going to go down in price, or this 50 series is going to be perfect for my needs. But it was like a set of graphics cards that their big selling point was they could upscale even more. They had even more powerful AI abilities. So it didn't really speak to me so strongly, but I believe the price point and the general performance was still really good, and that's what I was saving money up for. You know, if you're a gamer and you want to build a computer, the CPU and the GPU are things you want to spend a decent money on, because you want that. And I also, you know, do a lot of video editing. Not so complex that I need stuff to handle like Blender and whatnot, but I was rocking a NVIDIA 1080 into 2025, so when I would edit videos from my streams, you know, just VODs and stuff, or I was making compilations of like gameplay in my own games with my personal time with my friends, it would take hours and hours and hours, like half of a day, for some of these videos to render, with no real like special effects attached most of the time. So I was willing to spend more money on a card that wasn't, and a CPU that wasn't necessarily straight up for gaming, but could do multitasking as well, because I do a lot of multitasking. So I was willing, but the scarcity of GPUs, I think, is where that whole story initiated. Yeah, you couldn't find anything. The 50 series sold out. NVIDIA's 50 series sold out like immediately. Scalpers were picking up everything. I think even the 40 series and the 30 series were becoming really scarce too, because people were buying those for primarily AI, I'm pretty sure, to power all that. Having a hard time articulating as I try to play this game as well and think back on my memory, which is legendarily poor. But yeah, I ended up having to somewhat settle on an what's it called? An AMD RTX. What do I have, like a 5070 or something? Which was new, it had just come out. I wanted an NVIDIA card because that's what I was familiar with, and I have had some troubles with my AMD software ever since building this computer, just because I'm not familiar with it, and it's just not as well built out as the NVIDIA stuff, I think. But, you know, it was a difficult market, and I wouldn't be surprised if it still is. People have trouble buying components for their computers. It's just really, really hard to get a hold of that stuff. Stops soul power from decreasing. Wow, that sounds really strong. But yeah, it's all AI's fault. Really sucks. I'm kind of predisposed against AI. Super draw reduces the time needed to perform a quick draw. That sounds actually awesome. I should buy rice. You don't sell rice, okay. Sucks. Okay. I wonder what I can forge now. It's been a hot minute since I looked at this. I don't think I looked at this menu in the entire last video. 64. Oh wow, my strength and vitality jumped up. They're in the 40s. I thought they were in the 20s last I looked. This sword also comes with quick draw. Oh, there was definitely some stuttering, so I didn't completely fix the issue, but... Tornado. Earth Hornet 2. Auto recover. I wonder what that is. Baited Wasp. Stop all 50%. That's status protection, I'm pretty sure. Again, I'm curious if you can be playing... I bet you can play, oh boy, now I forgot his name. The other character. What did I tell you about my memory? You play the other character... kind of simultaneously, like dipping back and forth between Kisuke, I think. So I could make this sword with him, and then I could make this middle blade if I can get the cursor over. Oh! Never mind. You can't equip that for quite a while. So... These are really cool. All these are really good. Go for more XP, even though it's not a lot. I don't want to lean on like bonus stats too much, because it could give me false impression of like how actually strong. Oh, but this comes with that too. On the blade. Gonna lose absorb life. Kind of unfortunate. So. Long blade, 2 regular blades. This one has a skill called the Universe. That's insane. Wow, pretty. Bean dumpling covered by a clear outer layer. Mizu manju. Dai fuku mochi. Bean paste wrapped in bean enriched rice cake. Kintsuba. Sweet grilled cake shaped like a blade guard. Sounds interesting. Shaped like a blade guard. I don't know how red bean paste tastes. You know, it's used a lot in sweets in Japan. I don't know if I've ever had something that used red bean paste. I don't know if I'll like it. You keep an open mind though. I mean, it's popular still to this day, so it must be good. I gotta learn to be less picky, I think. Whoa. Okay, I dash across the whole screen. But I do have to go down now. Monka. I don't even need to go to these. Okay, so one thing I don't quite understand is I was just at like a shop where I could order food. Yes, that food gives me, is it spirit? Are the two currencies like spirit and soul for forging new blades? They also restore your HP, which I guess that is like just kind of a bonus that you don't really care about. You more so care about the fact that you're getting spirit. Is the... yeah, spirit. Because only like a couple of rooms away is this hot spring, which restores you to full health, like, for free. So why pay money to heal like a certain amount when you can just go to the hot spring and heal for free? I guess more the thing I'm arguing is it's just a strange placement of those two sort of facilities in a way within the game world. Thing? I don't know, like the game world map. I don't know if there's a way to. Oh, and okay, cool, cool. Well, that already tells me I don't want to take the boat. The lobster is just too expensive. So I've heard that lobster actually used to be like peasant food. There was so much lobster available, and higher class didn't want it. I can't remember where I heard it or how truthful it is, so I'd love to be fact-checked on it. But yeah, I had heard it was peasant food, and then at some point it became what it is today culturally, where like it's seen as this more exquisite bit of protein. Like lobster's expensive. It's for those of finer taste. It's definitely not pheasant food anymore. There's something in the music right now that reminded me of like Super Mario Brothers, Bowser's Castle stages music. Guess the item. Am I blind? Aha! Tricky. Dragon necklace. Prevents any change to your status. Whoa, that's really, really good. That'll be extremely useful for something, I'm sure. Do these items I collect carry over to Kisuke? Say Jingu Forest. Here we go. This is a new backdrop, I think. I hate fighting Tengu so much. Whoa, okay. The skull is bigger. I remember not liking Skull 1, that ability. Okay, excuse me. That hurts. Oh my god, I don't know if it's like poor form to talk about other games when I'm playing a game like this, especially on a VOD. There's only so much I can say, I suppose, as I'm going through this game, especially when it's kind of light on story. But currently in Limbus Company, that's kind of my gacha game of choice. That's my live service game of choice. Lately, it's kind of the only one I've been playing, I think. In case this is watched in the future and you know Limbus Company, but you don't know where that game is currently, we're at the first intervallo, I believe, of Kanto 9. So right now, that game is focusing on the sinner Ryoshu. She's kind of the Japanese representative of the game. And all this swordplay is reminding me, this week, in like 2 days, I want to say, is going to be the update that adds her like final ID of the season. The so-called bad end ID, as I believe people typically call them. And I won't say, you know, what it is or anything for fear of spoilers, but I'm super duper looking forward to that. Hot 523. I don't think that Kanto 9 was my favorite of all the Kantos so far, but it was very good. I've been hoarding all my resources in order to do some pulls for specifically like this banner. Not that I knew what the banner was, but just because I didn't start way back when the game came out. So I need like a bunch of IDs. I need enough pulls saved to guarantee that I get that spark in the game. Because I guess I should explain in case you don't even know what Limbus Company is as a gacha. But if you are familiar with gachas and you know like what a spark is, maybe you're more familiar with like the MiHoYo format where you get pity. The current thing with like MiHoYo games and a lot of other games copy it, you get pity. So you do like X amount of pulls, and then you have like a 50-50 chance of getting the banner unit. And if you didn't get it, then on your next X amount of pulls, then you'll be guaranteed to get the thing you were going for. This just leads to heaven? What the hell? Okay. Oh, this looks really cool. We're just way up in the sky. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked, but this is awesome. Oh, hello, big Oni. Oh. But yeah, and if you didn't get the character that's currently on the banner, whatever amount of pity that you stored up, you know, I think in like Star Rail and Genshin Impact, it was like at 90 pulls, you had a 50-50 chance. And then if you didn't get it, it was another 90 pulls to guarantee it. That was at maximum. You could get your high rarity character before then. A game like Limbus Company, there is no pity system. So there's a spark system. And spark is different than pity. At least I'm pretty sure it's called spark. So what happens is you don't get to carry it over between banners. That's one unfortunate thing. If you put 100 pulls into a banner on Limbus and you don't get to the spark, the next banner, your build up towards that is just gone. It doesn't carry over at all. So that kind of sucks. Spark, though, in return, lets you just choose whatever you want from the banner, because they typically put more than one thing on there. So if you did happen to get the unit you wanted, but there's something else that you'd like, you can just guarantee it with the spark. You just pick it. Unfortunately, it's 200 in Limbus, which is a lot. So the point of it all is that I try to save up to 200 pulls before I do anything, because there's a bunch of stuff from the past when the game had like come out that I still don't have, because I started the game late. I want to get that stuff, so I guarantee that I can pick at least something before I start pulling. Limbus Company also is very kind and lets you just straight up like dispense. It's called dispensing. You can just dispense whatever character you want with very few restrictions, if you're willing to just like farm a little bit, or you know, keep up with the game enough to grind things out. I'm going to die. I think I'd rather die because I'm just so low on HP. It's really long-winded. Probably didn't help explain it a lot if you aren't familiar with the game or gacha mechanics or whatever, but Limbus is very generous. You can get pretty much anything you want. I've skipped a lot of stuff that's come out this season because I'm planning on just doing so many pulls on this next banner that I'll either get all the stuff that I missed out on, or I can just dispense specifically what I want without much restriction, and it'll be fine. Limbus is based. If you like gacha games, that's definitely been one of my favorites. I'm so mad at MiHoYo. Their games start off so promising, but every time without fail, they just like make bad decisions that piss me off, and I I don't get what I'm looking for. And once I drop a gacha game, like, I don't come back. You don't just put out, like, a character that satisfies, like, conditions that I wanted to see. Like, you've lost me. I don't know how many people feel the same and, like, will commit to the same level of, like, boycotting in some sense. I guess I'm not boycotting, I've just moved on and I'm mad. I have a lot of rules when it comes to live service games. An area up above. Oh, it's probably like that one area where you climb up. Oh, maybe not. There's a path over here. Thinking that tower. Like a couple chapters ago, there was a tower. You had to like go to adjacent rooms in order to get higher. These things suck. I feel like this is... I thought this was going to be an extra room. No, this is the correct way to go, so... I got ahead of myself there. I spent like all day yesterday in Limbus Company trying to do this new event they have that's very, very like gacha-esque. Usually that game doesn't feel like a gacha game. I don't feel like I have to have the newest stuff to play or do well or whatever. But unless they had the mode before I had ever played, which it's been about a year now since I've been playing Limbus. They just added a mode where you get like bonuses depending on which units you're using, which is very gacha-esque in my opinion, you know, to like force you to be doing pulls and stuff. You have to have X units, and if you don't, it's just going to be a harder time. And I'm like far enough in the game that I was able to do it, but it took me hours of trying and like having to level up units I hadn't used before to kind of like command the correct team. It sucked. I'm not a big fan. That's what always killed it for me is you could see the writing on the wall with like Genshin for sure, and I played Star Rail. I liked Star Rail more than Genshin. But they just kept introducing more and more and more endgame modes that initially they would give like more validity to certain types of units that had been suffering that didn't really have a use case. I already forgot what I picked up. Doesn't matter. Like, I remember they added this mode. I'm trying to remember what it's called, and I'm not going to remember. But it made it so erudition units like had a place in the game. Area of effect units, essentially, because the other game modes, it was like single target was king, or like cleave was king. There was no need to use AoE. It would be handicapping yourself. So the addition of this other mode was a good thing. But of course, power creep comes in. You have to be constantly getting like the newest units. They get so many bonuses for using the newest character, and it wasn't even enough eventually to just have the newest character. You needed to pull for their weapon. You needed to pull for all the subsequent characters too that would specifically work in the team that they were designed. Like it became really restrictive team building. And I was like I would just buy the monthly pass. That's it. So if I couldn't be constantly keeping up with the meta, like a free-to-play player wasn't going to either. And it just got worse and worse and worse, the power creep. The characters that I wanted just always fell behind in the meta. For some reason, my tastes were holding me back. It really sucked. That's a bunch of just dumb anecdotal BS that you probably don't care about. Gacha games are a trap. Don't play gacha games. Fujin Raijin. I have to get 100 hits.
村雲踏んで登るからにはうちらの許しなく行かせへんで。人間のくせにようここまで登ってこれたな。大したもんやで。
Oh, it's Fujin and Raijin.
ああ、お願いですジンクロ。謝って戻りましょう。元に戻るためとはいえ、これでは罰当たりが過ぎまする。聞け。玉写し使うも破られるもわしとて初めてで気づくのが遅れたが、この体の命もう長くない。今は残った術の働きで肉体に玉の尾をつないでおるが、元より2つの魂の受け皿には無
Is
理がある。
Momohime gonna die?
我らの魂魄はもはや資料同然。波の手立てでは流らえられぬ。罰当たりが望むところ
I
よ。
feel like I missed something there with that plot point. I'm a little confused.
若い娘やと思うて期待したのになんやがっかりやで。あんた中身がややこしいことになっとるがな。どこの陰陽師か知らんがいたずらはあかん。せやけど来てもうたんはしゃあない。穏便に解決しようやないか。わいはそっちの相方や。一応風の神さんやさかい話を聞いといても損にはならんで。
I should switch over to my Earth horn. Oh, I can't pause. Damn. But big.
こっからは一歩も通さへんで。なんや小娘その格好。
I guess it didn't click with me at first when it said Fujin, Raijin. That it was the two of them talking at once. I was like, is this some kind of fused deity or what?
しもたおもても後の祭りや。覚悟し。
100 hits. How am I gonna do that? That's way more than the other ones.
あんた何生ぬるいことを言うとるん。射程の高2があんだけやられとるんやで。バッチリ仇を取ったら思わんのんか。あほ、わいが本気出したらこの辺りは大嵐やぞ。畑におるじいさんばあさんやら麓のもん泣かしたないんや。もう頼りにならん。うち一人で十分や。あんたはそこで指くわえて見とったらええわ。
Okay, so it's not gonna be a 2v1. Oh boy. Oh boy, how am I gonna do this? Oh. Okay, so I can hit the... I don't even know. I'm always like concerned that I'm gonna call something the wrong thing and be lambasted for my incorrectness. I don't know what this symbol is. Or like what it's called, I guess. I've seen it used as a symbol for like Raijin before, so I guess it must be a symbol that means lightning. Not entirely sure, and I'm totally gonna die. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. It's one thing to just try and fight this boss. It's gonna be a whole nother to get this achievement for 100 hits. Okay. I feel like I need to dip out of this fight and go grab my Earth Hornet. Have any hope of getting 100 hits. It's clearly because I can hit those lightning symbols that I can get additional hits, but If only Moonlight was able to add hits on. No burning. Look, there's this gives more defense. If I just take less damage, I should be able to tank a little bit more and just kind of ignore whatever. Oh my god. Okay. Easy? Oh my god. Combo of deadly proportions, 200 hits. Insane. Okay. Well, that wasn't nearly as bad as I was expecting. Earth Hornet stays winning. Do I still have the XP one on? That probably wasn't smart. I could have put on the quick draw thing. What happened there? I feel like Earth Hornet just doesn't... The damage on the blade shouldn't be high enough to actually do a whole lot, but... Uh-oh. I was under the impression there for a moment that she was just flying in a circle, not following me. Can't see what she's doing. Uh-oh. Oh, is this like a final... Okay, never mind. I thought she was just suddenly gonna start doing that the rest of the fight. Easy peasy. Whew. That went way better than some of those other bosses before. Purple barriers. There's still like white barriers I've seen. And I'm not sure what else. Ugh. Stretch.
言わんこっちゃない。雲から落っこちてしもたかな。民家に落ちんかったんが不幸中の幸いや。そうやけど驚いたな。雷相手するのに鉄の刀振り回すアホがおる思ってたら、なんと勝ってしまいよった。人聞き悪いこと言わんときや。まだ負けとらへんで。今度こそ雷直撃や。ここで決着をつけちゃる。ええ加減にせ。みんな迷惑するやろ。そう青筋立てて角突き出しとってみ。嫁のもらい手のうなっても知らんで。そんな意地悪言わんといてな。うちの気持ち知っとるくせに。ほな今度だけあんたの言う通りで。ほうかほうか、かわいいやっちゃな。心配せんで。 ワイもお前にほの字やさかい。そのでかい尻も大好きや。
Uh-huh. I always thought that Fujin and Raijin were supposed to be like brothers or something. Obviously, there's been liberties with their designs and whatnot, but I don't really know what to think of what just happened in their conversation. But nothing happened. Oh, Fujin saved us. We could have just did an air dash or something. We would have been fine. Yeah, I would have expected one actual bolt of lightning at us. Should have been our doom, but Amaterasu closed Heaven's Gate while you were fighting. Probably get nothing out of it? We went to hell and we went to heaven, and we got nothing out of either adventure. Inkuro giving Momohime her body back just because he knows, like, it's kind of over for them both. But for her in particular, I mean, there we have seen the development already, that he's, like, attached enough that he's willing to give her this courtesy, and he really doesn't have any reason to. Kongo.
天に通じる霊山ですが、蘭海率いる真言蓮華宗の総本山でもあります。坊主どもに何ができよう。邪魔する者は何者であっても村正の餌食となろうよ。
We're gonna get to heaven one way or another. Did I get a sword for that? You always get a sword for that stuff, right? Utsunokami Yoshiyuki. Giant Tornado. Quick Draw. Did I get that from that fight? Did I already make that? That was the purple barrier, okay. Starting to get enough actual, like, souls that I can keep up with this. I think that was a problem before. I couldn't keep up the amount of souls it was requiring. Sun Orb. E-Slash. E-Slash is good. Earth Hornet just goes so hard. Like, that's been carrying me big time. Kashigiri Hiromitsu. Insane sword for these achievements. For Momohime, at least. I guess it's not going to really matter for Kisuke, if I recall. But Shaded Wasp. Oh, here's the thing, actually. I don't need this sword on unless it's a boss fight. So, Universe is good. That was big time helping me get out of certain situations, because I think most of these secret arts, if not all of them, give you some iframes. You become invincible for a moment. And because that one would also move me across the screen, I was able to get out of some of those attacks in that last fight pretty easily. Baited Wasp. Bonus effects are really good. Sun Orb. Idare Kaze Muramasa. Search for heaven atop Mount Kongo, Yamato. Okay, yeah, straight back to heaven. That looks like Yasuhachi over there. Yeah, isn't Yasuhachi, that old man in hell said Yasuhachi was his son. Yeah, this is Yasuhachi, okay.
こっちはあれから相棒が風邪気味なもんで、俺だけ次の宿場に行って宿を取ってやろうと先に来たんだが、やっぱり心配でここで待ってんだ。俺はいけねえ。こっちも映されちまったかな。
I heard that you're a devious fox in disguise.
悪いことは言わん。一休みしなされ。参道に入って休めば。
That's all you guys talk about is Kitsune. Yuzu-yokan Kukamochi Temple. Wheat featuring the taste of juicy bean paste. Yeah, there's another one. Like, does that look yummy? I don't know. It's like jelly-like. Something about that tells me I'm not gonna like it. I'm not a big fan of gelatin.
金剛山の頂より天に至る道ありと古くから申します。なれど今は不動明王ご本尊に真言蓮華宗の総本山畜生の身で聖域に立ち入ることはできません。
Say goodbye to you here? What? I assume we're getting close to the end of the game, but that's... I don't know if he's like just saying that or what. Well, even though I feel like I could just continue on towards the next area, usually I stop right before the boss fight, but the timing of that one was strange because it happened so early on into the episode. So I think I'm gonna cut it off here and continue into the next one. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So, I believe everything was going better. I guess I have to check about that V-Sync thing, huh? It's been bothering me the whole time I was playing. I just don't know if you can see it. So, regardless, thank you very much for watching. As always, leave me whatever feedback. Hope you've been enjoying. Muramasa is a really interesting game, huh? Like, I don't know, the art style's crazy, the story's kind of weird. I don't know. What do you think about Muramasa? Next time, I guess we're headed to heaven again. Hope to see you there. Thanks.